Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your Taurus July 2022 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, clairvoyant. And during the course of the last month, I've had the great pleasure of doing a number of clairvoyant readings for people, Taurians, from all over the world. And if you yourself would like to have a clairvoyant reading with me, see how easy it is by checking out the description, and the prices are contained on the link to the website, which I have. And they're in different currencies for different countries, and other currencies can be made available as well. Now, let's see what there is in store for you. This is a deck which is, these days, very hard to come by. It's not being printed anymore. It's an independent deck. The imagery is quite stunning, I think, and so it's become something of a collector's item, it would seem. So we're going to draw 5 cards for you, because that's all we need. This is something from that other reading, so that can go back in here. That's the 2 of Cups, incidentally. Let's have a look here and see what there is. Good shuffle, good shuffle. Show me the magic, show me the magic. This one is the Queen of Cups. Now, these playing cards which you see around you, they're there just for additional energy, you know. There's the High Priestess. In my clairvoyant reading with you, I use playing cards, not these ones, but and I use a little bit of tarot, but mainly it is the clairvoyant experience that you'll find. But now, of course, we're doing tarot, and we want 2 more cards. So there is 2 of Cups, Queen of Cups, High Priestess, and what is there here? You look like you want to make yourself known. The King of Swords. I think we'll get through this quite quickly today. We'll see what there is here. And there is the Emperor. Marvelous. Well, why don't you, as is our usual practice, come sit down here next to me. We'll have a good close look at the imagery on these cards together while I do the reading for you. Now, I think you can see those. Let's have a look at the first card, the one that's in the center here, Major Arcana. Then I'll deal with this other Major Arcana down here. Very good for you to have these 2 together, I must say. Now, here, of course, is the High Priestess. She is the keeper of the paradox and the non-binary, sitting before an option of black and white, but of course the world is not black or white, is it? They are 2 furthest extremes. She takes the middle position, as is good, because everything in between black and white is what makes up the world. Now, our priestess here is a Sibyl. Now, a Sibyl was a female oracle known in ancient Greece, in ancient Egypt, in Mesopotamia, who would prophesy the future. And very often they were keepers of esoteric wisdom and the speakers of mysterious truth. Now, it is believed that some used snake venom to help bring on their visions, and the snakes here also represent the goddess-like Athena, Isis, Astarte, or the priestess Medusa, and Sophia, the feminine representation of wisdom. Now, she is very much associated with the moon, as you can see through here, and that says that, well, the moon, of course, represents cycles, going with the flow in life. This inverted moon at her base, that speaks of the unconscious, the subconscious. But when I say astrologically the moon is associated with her, it is the moon at its highest point, joining the human to the divine. So I think that this is a time when you'll have access to intuitive powers. You might have a great degree of healing ability with you. Definitely, this is a time of independence here, inner equilibrium, and increased self-confidence, discovering your own truth, and an emotional stability. You see, she is in touch with her intuitive abilities and can trust them completely. She perceives and is connected with her own voice, the internal guide and healer. Now, this shows outwardly in her trust in and responsibility to herself. Now, like the camel, which can travel long stretches in the desert without water, you, when you have discovered your own inner spring, also radiate a satisfied sense of self-efficiency. You find fertile oases in the innermost reaches of your being, and the more you accept yourself and share with others, the deeper the clarity of your perceptions will become. I think that what she's also telling me is that this is a time when you might find out secrets, and you'll be able to hold on to secrets. Now, this also speaks of a platonic friendship here, maybe a work or a social environment. It could be a new one, or it can be a very strengthening one. It's something to do with a social friendship that you have. I think that's also calling upon you to have a little bit of alone time to work out what you really want and to let your mind process things. Now, you do understand, I hope, that changes on the inside are necessary to make changes on the outside. There's a need to connect and to be more confident with your intuitive, feminine side. And the men, don't be concerned about that, because we all of us have principles of both genders within us. There's also great talk of pregnancy and marriage around here as well. It's the beginning of a creative cycle, asserting your independence, increased self-esteem, and to becoming aware of intuition as a gift. A time, as I say, for discovering the oasis within. You now have access to your intuitive powers. Develop them more fully. Guard your independence. Are there areas in your life in which you allow others to influence you rather than trusting your own intuition? Seek out water as often as you can. Meditate near it and learn from it as much as you can. And say this to yourself: I trust my intuitive abilities. I deeply honor and value the human being that I am. I am intuitive and perceptive. I trust myself and honor my sense of integrity. Well, we really have to go to the Emperor, don't we? Because, look at the color in this. Fabulous. Fabulous. Okay, now, the Emperor creates through control, to put it bluntly. He needs order and structure. He has his empire, and he makes sure that it runs as expected. This can make such a person a little resistant to change. Now the red, because this is very much Mars all around here, aggression, and the sign of Aries around it as well, but very much Mars, aggressive, rambunctious, moving things forward, turning things over, pushing, but Mars in its good sense, Mars in its creative sense. This red, nevertheless, symbolizes, I think, his combative, his warlike nature. And his tight posture, I think, represents his need for control. In his hands he holds nettles from the nettle bush, which is a medicinal herb, but comes with a sharp sting. And so, I suppose, is life under the Emperor. Well, the son of the morning, the chief among the mighty. Mars ruling Aries, with the sun exalted here. This is a time of building, doing, pioneering, and you having a visionary thing here. Now, Mars is exalted, and as I say, this combination of Mars in Aries with the sun exalted is a combination of energy in its most material form, with the idea of authority behind it. So I think that you are going to be primarily concerned with power and control over other people or yourself or events around you. And you will be seen at this time as being a natural leader and organizer. You'll have willpower and you'll exercise judgment. And the judgment will be exercised well because you have learnt through life experience. And you will obtain success through discipline and application. Now, this suggests that you will be a rational thinker, but I do have this Queen of Cups up here, which is a warning in a sense, also to look out at, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to be a rational thinker. I'll get to her in a second. Now, status is going to be important to you, as is material security and stability. Now, you might find that you are quite volatile and fiery, not passive at all. There's a lot of creative wisdom around you, urge for action, new beginnings, order, structure, ambition, taking a stand for things, being quite firm with yourself and other people. Now, somebody might find that they get promoted during this period as well. As long as the Emperor's powers are used for transformation and new beginning, their effect is beneficial. But beware of using them to preserve the status quo. When used to preserve the status quo, the structure of the Emperor's realm petrifies. It becomes stiff and unable to move. And his boldly determined expression becomes frozen. His authority, once grounded in wisdom, expresses as being just almost like a tyrant. Living in fear of change, he attempts to nip any rebellion in the hand. If he does that, if you do that, then you'll be doomed. And the flow of the Tao, sooner or later, will topple your reign. But forewarned is forearmed, and you won't do that. You might find that people think that you are difficult to get to know at this time, and others might think that you come across in something of a gruff way. Nevertheless, this is really a really good time for change or a new beginning. Trust your own energy and move with it. What revitalization does your life need? Are there steps you would like to take towards this? Examine yourself critically, especially in regards to your relations with people who report to you in the workplace or people that you report to. And say this: I enjoy starting projects. I value and honor my leadership ability. I am a responsible person. I trust my power. I rule by serving, and I serve by ruling. Now, shall we have a look at this? Two of Cups, which is just the first card that you drew. And it is a beauty. It's a beauty. Now, here we're looking at an equal relationship. No one stands above or below anyone else. Everyone's cup is of the same size. No one is sacrificing anything for anyone else. Now, this can be read very much as marriages, people moving in together, pregnancy around here. And I think that there is at least one person with whom you should know where you stand, and you'll know what that means to you. And that brings us to this sort of strange little couple that's here, surrounded by flowers that represent love. Each is allowed to be their own strange self, I suppose, each with the cup that suits them best. Now, this is Venus in the first Decan of Cancer, the 21st of June to the 1st of July. And this exemplifies the benefit of you having drawn this card first, because Venus is the most receptive of signs. It's about love, beauty, creativity. This is the Lord of love. And Cancer, Venus in Cancer. Well, Cancer is a sign to do with nurturing, comfort, support, and healing. So this is talking about a receptive love, happy relationships, and a great emotional exchange during this period. If you love yourself, then you are attractive to others. Do you understand that? Your receptiveness towards yourself prepares you to give yourself to somebody else. Now, a deep emotional exchange will be possible, a giving and receiving of overflowing love. The union can occur in complete harmony, as is symbolized by the couple here. This is an image of complete joy and silent ecstasy. Close bonds, togetherness, love, harmony, a relationship that is strengthening, mutual love and respect. So with which persons and in which surroundings can you now share your love? Pay attention to the love coming to you now. Remain open and let it enter you and go deep inside. And say this to yourself. There is nothing to do but enjoy what life offers. I am now ready to let into my life the love relationships which will fulfill me. Now let's have a look at the Queen of Cups. See what she has to say. You go there. Oh, Queen of Cups. A very alluring sort of woman from underneath there. Well, she expresses her love through love, her water as water. So she is the boiling of the sea, crashing, flooding, eroding, charging over banks and levees as an unstoppable force. The whale consort that is here, I think, embodies both the peacefulness and the tremendous force of the Queen. And this poisoned ring here, see, it's got that little mechanism which allows poison to come out. Well, that sort of reminds you of what happens if you cross her. I think who's going to be important to you during this time are Cancer and Gemini. Now, her characteristics depend mostly on the influences that affect her from her external environment, so be aware of that. She's very much at the disposal of every impact and impression that comes from other people. She can see herself in others and also see through others and reflect that back to them. I think that as the watery aspect of water, it's almost as if people go right through her. Very intuitive and an observer of things, possibly dreamy at times, can get quite poetic, kind yet passive, but there's some psychic ability there, I think. She is very influenced by the environment and other people, so make sure that you get rid of any negative people around you at this time. And there is a hint here that the chief pleasure of people of this type, and as I say, it could be a Cancer or a Gemini around you, is to attract and lead others. Could well be you then in that case as well. And such people, and this is the case with you, can be, and you will be, very popular during this period. She's had a lot of love, harmony, and nurturing. Love is complete acceptance of something in its highest sense. She has an acceptance of all things and so can merge to become one of them. I do think here, though, that she is very influenced by her environment. I say that again. So if things around you are hostile or difficult, it might bring out your shadow side. And I think that this is someone who could well have been in a relationship which could have ruined her. Well, the courts are gender neutral, really, despite how they are expressed. But somebody here, I think, who could have been ruined emotionally or financially by a relationship. Being attracted to the wrong person and taking on their energy would have had a disastrous effect on her life. And she may be carrying scars from that time. and maybe not reflecting her purity as she should. By showing your feelings openly, you become beautiful. There may be people who don't understand you. Don't concern yourself about it. There are enough others with whom you can share your feelings. Are you open to your emotions and feelings? Trust your feelings. Live in harmony with them and say to yourself, my openness and vitality makes me beautiful. It takes us finally, I think, to, let's have a look at this King of Swords. Hi, King. How are you? Well, he is really of course, he is the fire of air. Air and fire can cause problems with each other, so there'll be conflict within the personality of the person. There he is hanging in the air. He is a picture of intellect. Now, Taurus is associated with this card in particular, and I think so is Gemini, because we have the energy of the mind in Gemini with the influence and stability and determination of Taurus here. And we have fire of air, so it's akin to a wind storm, storms, hurricane, forces of passion originating in the mind. Now, if he's not soaring intellectually, he can get lost in the dark clouds of his mind. But this is representing a person like you who is active, clever, skillful, fierce and courageous, but maybe from time to time quite unreflective. He represents the idea of attack, of violent power, of motion applied, is what I'm getting here. The wind, the storm. Now, his moral qualities are skill, subtlety and cleverness. He is fierce, delicate, courageous, but can become altogether consumed by his current idea, which comes to him by way of inspiration, really, without reflection and considered insight. You'll be very goal-oriented, very ambitious. You'll have flexible intellectual powers and a great degree of passion with you during this period, and that goes well with this thing which is on the same line. I think what will happen also is that you'll develop a clear insight into a problem and work quickly to set goals without letting anything getting in your way. Now, this nevertheless might be something of a restless period where you are transitioning and trying to get somewhere else in your everyday life. Maybe even travel is something I'm getting around here. But definitely it's a time to listen to the head rather than the heart. And she did give us some indication of that, didn't she? Just be careful of getting caught up with those that are around you. That is, if they're providing negative energy towards you. Now, this represents restlessness, maybe wanting to break free of the workplace. You are in a good position now to forge plans, set goals, and bring them to fruition. Do you know your goal? What happens once you achieve it? Imagine how you will best be able to enjoy your success. And say this to yourself: I know my goal, and I know what I am working towards. Each goal is just a milestone on the way to my ultimate destination. Well, what a fantastic spread of cards for you. Good job. That's the way it is. What a fascinating and uplifting month for you this is going to be. I hope you enjoyed that reading as much as I did providing it to you. I certainly love seeing you each month, and I look forward to doing it. I can't wait to do the next one. And until the next time, remember one thing, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.